Hey yo, what is going on, guys? My name is Jared Myers, or Jared0 WWE. Well, I was Jared0 WWE a while ago, but guys, this intro is actually not the original intro. It's because this video was so long and me exporting it was difficult, and it's taken me a lot of hours just to try to even get this to even work. I thought it wasn't gonna work at a point. I got very stressed out, so this intro is very, very brief, very quick. Guys, today's interview is massive. It's huge. It's so big to me because I grew up watching him. I started watching him when I was 11 years old, and it's such an amazing interview. We interview former WWE superstar, current TNA superstar Heath Slater. I hope you guys do enjoy. If you guys want to see more interviews like this, give me a thumbs up button down below, guys. Make sure to go give Heath Slater a follow, and yeah, tell him that I sent you guys. And man, it's probably one of my favorite interviews ever. Like, it is one of my favorite. It is the best interview I've ever done. So I hope you guys really enjoy it. I have more on the way, and guys, I can't believe it. It's awesome. I'll see you guys later. I love you guys. Peace.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got Heath Slater on the line. Heath, how you doing today?
Man, I can't complain, man. I'm living. Life's all right. So, I mean, the world's crazy, but,
Yeah.
the house is pretty good.
That's good. That's good. What have you been doing in quarantine?
Going crazy,
Really?
going stir crazy, man, So, I mean, that's like, with quarantine, it's like, you got to stay in as much as you can. But then again, where I live in South Carolina, my kids got school, so they go to school. We got to go to grocery store at least once a week. I mean, you take, the precautions and everything you can. But then again, like, I'm an entertainer and my job is to be out there. So it's like I got to do some signings. But then again, it's so weird because you got to wear masks. People can only come in one at a time. It ain't like you can really have like that. Hey, everybody, what's up? It's more just like, how you doing? Nice to meet you. All right. How you doing? Nice to meet you. It's just, I don't know. It's just different.
Oh yeah. Wait. So with this whole thing, do you approach fans differently? So when a fan comes up and want like a photo and stuff, do you still take them, or how does that work with wrestlers? And because I'm sure a lot of people are getting that.
I mean, yeah, you still take the picture for sure, but then again, most of the time it's a picture with masks on your face.
Yeah.
The world's just nuts right now, crazy, turned upside down, and it's just one of those things where, like, I just hope it gets back to normal, but who knows if it will.
Oh yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I haven't been to a wrestling event in like over a year. I didn't get to do one last year. I tried to do everyone that comes to St. Louis, and I'm like, and last year there was this weekend with me and my friend. There was a Ring of Honor, a TNA, and an AEW one all in the same week, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be crazy. Never been to a Ring of Honor one either, and I've watched that. Well, I've seen
it on good shows too, man.
Yeah, and I saw it as like when in like fifth grade, and I was like, that would be cool to go to it. Oh man, COVID happened, and I never got a chance to do it.
Bro, I'm telling you right now, it's so weird, with your music hitting and you walking down a ramp to nobody. It's like it kind of makes you feel like, you're in like practice matches again. And you're trying to go and do, your stuff, and hopefully the people might like it or not, who knows. But it's just so awkward. Just feeling the energy from the people I miss so bad, because I mean, honestly, if it ain't for the fans out there cheering me or booing me, either one is my cheers. So it's like it's so hard to get into it. It's more like a play than a aggressive male soap opera.
Do you get bugs when you go out and wrestle in front of nobody versus when you have like a 20,000 fan pack? Because I'm sure you probably get more bugs with fans, right?
What do you mean?
Like the nervousness, like before is there still that when there's no fans?
I feel more uncomfortable when there's no fans.
Oh, really?
I do. I don't know. It's just, I feed off the energy.
Yeah.
And when there's no energy to feed off of, you got to try to keep your mindset to knowing that the camera's the fans. So you have to play to it and make sure, you're in there with it. And if you're selling, look at it. Oh, I'm hurting. Help me. Like you want them to feel your emotions too, but like, even like McIntyre, when he won the title at Mania and he looked in the camera and done his deal, like when he did that, I'm like, I get it. I totally understand, man. But it's just one of those things where, like, I would rather go out there in front of 100,000 people and just let's go, like let's feel this energy and have fun instead of going out there with nobody and just hoping people are watching.
Oh yeah.
It's just a weird feeling, and I mean, I guarantee you everyone says it. I don't know, but I'm sure they do because I know that's the way I feel.
When speaking of McIntyre, when he won that and you saw that, what was your feeling for someone that you got to work with for years, 3MB and all those other years? How happy were you for that?
Bro, I was ecstatic, man. I texted him, I called him, we talked. It was just, I mean, he's like one of my best friends in real life, so it's just one of those things where I knew his journey. I knew what he came from. Like, it was just so weird whenever that whole firing went down and Jinder Andrew got it. And I'm just like, whoa, well, there goes my 2 years companions that I did everything with. Yeah. And now it's like, what am I doing? Why am I not fired? Why didn't you fire me? Like, it was just so many questions. And then I had to like reinvent myself another way and all this other things. But it was just heartbreaking, And then, like, now knowing that happened to him and the journey that he went back and what he did and found himself, and then he went back and conquered WWE and still doing it. It's like, oh, man, heck yeah,
He has a match with Goldberg at the Rumble.
Yeah, I know. I don't know how I feel about that.
You don't know how you feel?
I don't know how I feel about
it. If he wins, that's all that matters. He needs that win.
I mean, yeah. But I don't know what I feel about
that. So a question for you. So when back in FCW, in your FCW days, you had a team with Curtis Axel, and when you first got into NXT, of the reality show NXT, was it when they called everybody up there? Was it just, how was that process? Did they look at FCW and go, all the top names that we like the most, that's who's gonna be in it, or how did that process work? And what was your reaction when they said you're gonna be one of them?
It was one of those things to where I knew about 3 weeks before they knew the announcement. I was always in the office, like Dr. Tom and Steve Kern and Norman, like we all got along. We all still get along. Like I love those guys. They're like wrestling fathers to me. So it's one of those things to where they always kept me in the loop because they knew I ain't going to run my mouth. So it was one of those things where I knew it was coming. I knew I was one of them, but I didn't know who the other 7 was.
Yeah.
Like, oh, shoot, okay. I better start dieting. I better start looking better, So once they made the announcement, we all thought it was going to be like a tournament, like a wrestling tournament, to where it was going to be like, if you win, you get 3 points. If you lose, you get no points. If it's a draw, you get 1-1, like that type thing.
Yeah.
Man, it turned into this obstacle game challenge, like Family Feud mixed with Nickelodeon Double Dare, and like it was just we all were confused, man. We didn't know what was going on. We were just puppets running around doing what they told us to. But yeah, it was just very confusing. I mean, and that goes down the line. I mean, everyone would tell you the same thing. It was, why are we doing this? What's the reason? Like, come on. Like, we just want to try to make a living here, and I feel like we're getting made of a joke and stuff. Yeah. And then, thank God, that came from it, So that is worth all that BS we had to put up with, man. Like, that's the truth, and everyone will say it. I mean, we weren't even a stable that long, like, 7-8 months. But we put a dent in WWE so big that people still talk about it 11 years later.
Oh yeah, you get I mean, I don't know what your thoughts on Retribution is, but I know all the fans are like, oh, this just want to be Nexus, just want to, like, you guys have a thing that now in the future, no matter what anyone does, they're just trying to be the Nexus. Like, you guys did something big.
You know what's funny to me is that a lot of people say, you know how, like, when we were kids, it was like we compared everyone to the 4 horsemen. Like, that was who every stable, like that 4-man stable, boom. Thank God we were 8 and not 4, because the 4 horsemen probably would have whooped their tail anyway, But, like, we're like that unit to where if there's ever a big group, they are 100% going to get compared to Nexus, because we were that one that kicked the door down and everyone was like, whoa, who are these dudes? Like, what in the world? These ain't these rookies that we were thinking they were. dude, it put us all on the map.
That's crazy. But was there really any talk of actually like a Nexus return at WrestleMania during that Firefly Funhouse, or was that just news articles saying that?
Oh no, there was speculation, there was rumors, and there was talk.
Really?
But a couple guys couldn't get on the right page. Next thing you know, COVID hit, and everything just, the shit hit the fan, bro, and just went everywhere. Yeah. But we all were like, there was a rumor that for NXT, what is it they do every year? Takeover.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Takeover, we all were going to like be ringside.
Oh, that
and, and everyone's like, what's going on? And I'm thinking, man, if we're all going to be ringside, we're going to be beating the hell out of somebody. It's just inevitable. It's going to happen. It's just, when is it going to happen? But we're supposed to be at ringside, and, they go down the line, with the original NXT guys, and which would have been amazing, which would have been really cool for us and the fans, But there's other plans in the world.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
When you got to debut and they told you it was going to be up with Cena and CM Punk, what was that like, getting your debut attacking one of the biggest wrestlers like in the world, like in WWE? What was that like? Because that must have been like a cool.
We had no clue.
Oh, really?
Dude, it was one of those things where it would happen in Miami when Nexus like formed and we did all of that. But it was one of those things where we just thought we were going to show up and either get told we're fired or we're going to get told we're back in NXT or FCW at the time, So we're just like, man, and we all knew that Wade won. So it was like, well, he's up there. So I guess we're all back to FCW or something. But dude, when we got to Miami, man, they just brought us in Vince's office and they handed us all the Nexus armbands. I still got mine over here in the case. And told us what we were going to do, and we're just like, hold on, what? Really? Seriously? No, we're all like surprised and shocked, but excited and everything. And they're like, don't tell nobody. Stay in your suits and everything all day. As soon as the main event happened, change into your gear. We're going to sneak y'all through the crowd. And we're just like, whoa, what? Like, I'm just like, everybody, let your frustrations out. Break everything. It was things like, dude, we just showed up at job not knowing what in the world was going to happen. And next thing you know, it was like, here you go. Here's Nexus.
Was there going to be big plans for Nexus going into the next year before you guys broke up and CM Punk came in? Was there going to be like a WrestleMania 27, or was there talks about that?
Brother, if there was, I didn't hear about it, because as soon as Nexus broke up and me and Gabriel went from Raw to SmackDown to join up with Wade with the core, Nexus was never in our vocabulary again in wrestling after that. It was like, all right, we're the core now. We're the core of the Nexus. That's what they were wanting to get at, because Ryback was supposed to be with us, which that would have been an amazing 4-man stable, being the legit core of like the Nexus type deal. But Ryback broke his foot and ankle and shin, and it was like the horrible. And so we got Zeke in, and I mean, Zeke's a big old boy too, like he's a heavy hitter, but it just wasn't the mystique and the stigma on it was gone, because it wasn't the legit core of the Nexus. So it was like, people are like, oh, all right.
Yeah. When you were in NXT and you were told that Christian's gonna be your pro, were you a fan of Christian as a kid? Was that like, did you grow up being
I
a huge
love
fan?
Edge and Christian, man.
Yeah, I love. So that was like, you were told that.
It was one of those things, like we didn't know who we were going to have either. We just know we were on a show, and then they were like, "Hey, make sure you watch this tonight, because you're gonna find out who you're gonna be with." So we're just like the people at home, like, "Oh, who am I gonna be with?" So when I saw Jay or Christian, I'm just like, wonderful, it's gonna be cool, But like Edge always says, he's an asshole when he is. But he's one of those good assholes, and you love him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like it better with you finding out when we find out versus them telling you ahead, because you get that still like fan feeling?
It all depends on what the situation is. Something like that, like the Royal Rumble entrance, or all this. Like I as a fan inside still are like, ooh, what am I going to get? Like it's cool. But when it comes to a match, and I know that I want to make it great, I'm like, man, if you can give me 2-day notice, that'd be great. Like, all I need is 48 hours to come up with something I feel like will be good. But usually it's still like you get there, you only have like 3 hours, and then you find out who you're wrestling, and you got to put it together, and then you got to go out there, and it's a little nerve-wracking sometimes.
When you became the one MB character, did you develop that character, and then how much creative control did you have with your character? Like, how much do you get on the main roster, if
Bro,
any?
you don't get no creative control.
Really?
There ain't no creative control up there, man. Unless unless you're like one of their handpicks, you ain't gonna get creative control. And it's one of those things where like I came up with the one-man band. I was wanting to be like this, like I was wanting to do a rock and roll legit, how can I say it? More of a rock star, big hair, guitar, but having like an electric guitar and not an acoustic guitar, being like a 80s Motley Crue, something like that. But then I just became whatever they wanted me to become as a one-man band, and then I just did my best with it. So it's like one of those things where like you try to get those lines of communication, but then they get shuffled and lost, and then they're like, all right, this is what you got to do tonight. And you're like, whoa, what about this? They're like, no, you got to do this. So you got to go out there and do it. It's just like a movie, a play, or whatnot. They got something written, and here you go. Here's your part tonight.
I know. So just out of a curiosity question, I know from me doing YouTube, I've been doing this for 12 years. So I have moments where really, really high moments, and you go really low, and then really high, really low. When you're a wrestler, do you ever get those moments where you start self-doubting yourself? Do you think you're good enough? Do you think you'll ever be what you want to be? Or is it like different, like because you're in WWE, you feel different? Like, if that does that make sense? Like,
no, I know exactly what you're saying, but no, there's I feel like if someone ever says, oh no, I don't doubt myself, I got this, I got that, they're lying a little bit, because I mean really though, like think about it, and this goes for any job, anything. There's always going to be someone you think that's ahead, and it's one of those things where like people get lost in it because they try to compare themselves to it. They try to do them. They try to be like them. They try to achieve what they got. But then again, you don't have the resources. They're this, they're that. They're, everything else that goes into where they're at type deal. So that's where you start feeling defeated and feeling flat and everything. But the wrestling business, man, it's a roller coaster ride. And everyone says this, like it is a roller coaster ride, because you do have your highs, you do have your lows. I mean, shoot, my whole career was a roller coaster ride. I mean, I was in Nexus, and then it was like core, and then it was like doing not much of nothing. And then I was doing like, the one-man band, and then the one-man rock band, and then it was like, it's a total roller coaster ride. Like I've had my ups and downs so many times with wrestling, it's not even funny. It's like one of those, it's like a relationship, You have your ups and downs, man. But then again, that's life in general. But then it's like, you got to roll with the punches. You got to know what you can do, know what you can achieve, and go for it. And once you achieve that, set another goal. Go for that, achieve that, set another goal. And the next thing you know, you're going to look back and you're going to do, dang, I did all that? That's cool. Because that's how I was. I set little goals, and I was achieving them. And then I set bigger goals, and I got it. And I'm like, whoa. Set another goal, and I got it. I'm like, oh, shoot, I'm going to keep going then. And now it's like you look back, and you're like, man, like, I still have gas in the tank, but I still have achieved a lot. So it's one of those things that like, you don't want to ever give up, and certainly if it's a passion and something you love, because there's always going to be a roller coaster ride. There's always going to be bumps in the road. I mean, like, look at me now. I went to Impact, made a big, little like thing at Slammiversary.
Oh yeah.
And then I go to Bound for Glory. I'm supposed to be in this gauntlet match. I'm supposed to win it. Next thing you know, I slide in, hit a neck breaker, and I rip my adductor muscle off my bone. It felt like someone stabbed me in my gut. I couldn't win, so I'm calling audibles. I'm like, man, tell Rhino he's got to win, brother. Like, I'm out. So it's just one of those things to where, like, I still have to get surgery, But with COVID, the holidays, all these other things and rules, like, it's hard to even get in to get this done, and it's been since pretty much November when this happened. And I'm like, come on, like, I need to get out there and work.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just one of those things where, like, I'm on a slump now, so I'm frustrated a little bit. I'm like, oh my goodness, like, come on. But it's just like I said, like, I know there's going to be better days.
Oh, yeah.
So you need to look forward, always try to think positive, even if there's negative all around you.
I feel like anytime you have like a rock bottom low, there's always gonna be that up again, like no matter what, like, because even with your whole career, if you look back 10 years from now, you can pick out any moment that you think was a bad, and then 6 months later you probably went back up, like there's always. So I at least try to tell myself, especially on YouTube, when my views are down, I'll be like, I try not to get super depressed, because it messes with your head. Probably when a wrestler and you are on a losing streak, messes with your head. But you always know. I try to remind myself you're always gonna have that up again. Like it's just like, it's like a roller coaster. You're bound to get an up again. So I try to not let those downs really affect me. I'm getting better at it, but I always try to remind myself, like, there's always ups. There's always ups in the past. Why is there not going to be an up this time? Like, I lost my YouTube channel 12 years, all heartbreaking. But now I'm back and doing interviews with guys like you and stuff. So like, this is probably the stuff I've ever done. So I'm like, here we go. Maybe that losing that channel wasn't so bad.
Maybe this is a new refresh, like a good restart for you or something,
Oh,
who knows?
yeah.
It does suck to lose it, though. I'm sorry about that. That sucks,
It's good. It's good. Hopefully it happens for a reason.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So with your one-man band character, I want like a wrestler's point of view, because I know how us fans feel like, but I always am curious from a wrestler's point of view. So I was at Raw when you had your thing with Lita and all those legends.
Raw1000?
Yeah, in St. Louis. And when you had that match with Lita, as a wrestler, I know as a fan we get like, come on, really? Like, why is he losing? As a wrestler, though, are you angry with how you're being used to lose to older people, or are you like, oh, I get to share the ring with these legends? Like, how is that from a wrestler's point of view? Do you get angry at how they're booking you, or do you actually are having really fun? Like, does that mean? Like, from your point.
Totally. And that answer is a 50-50 split type deal, because there's a lot of times when you're like, the people are behind me, they cheer me, they want to see me succeed, they want to see me do good, like I've had hashtags, trending worldwide on things, to where I'm like, man, my fans are amazing. Like they're like some really cool people. And I feel like that's the reason, because like if I see them in public or anything, man, I treat them like human beings. Like, I'm like, man, what's up, man? How y'all doing? Y'all want a beer? What's up? Just hanging out. But yes, there's times where I'm like, why? Like, I'm perfect for this spot. Like, why would you put me in here? This and that. But I can 100% tell you that like, I enjoy wrestling. I enjoy storytelling. I enjoy the drama behind it. And when I showed up at Raw, and the very first legend I had to work was Vader, okay? I'm just walking in talent relation. I'm like, hey, Corona, what's up? He was like, oh, hey, blah, 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 sign this, sign that, blah, blah, blah. Oh, look, did you see who you're working tonight? I said, who, what? Who? So I look, me and Big Van Vader. I started laughing. I'm like, yeah, okay, what you got? Like, who is it? Who's dressing up as him? And then Kronos looks at me. He's like, no, man, it's really Big Van Vader. I'm like, whoa, what? He's like, yeah. I'm like, whoa. So I walk out, and I'm like, being this child inside of me, being by the guardrail, seeing Vader walk by, being like, oh my goodness, that's Big Van Vader. Oh no. You know, like him being that big heel, you know, to where you're scared of him.
Yeah.
Like that's how I was with him. Sid Vicious too, you know, and I got to work Sid Vicious in this Legends run, you know. So it was one of those things where like the child inside of me is like, holy crap, this is the best moment of my life. This is amazing. And the wrestler child, me as a person, that Legends run is still one of my favorite runs I've ever had.
Really?
Because I remember going to Mike Rotundo, IRS, and I was like, hey man, like, who else is working the Legends? Like, is this just like one-time thing, or what are they doing? He's like, oh, they were talking about bringing in a legend each week leading up to Raw 1000 with a big hurrah, you know? I'm like, do they have me working all of them? And he's like, no, we're going to just go through some guys. I'm like, no, like, I want to be this dude, you know? So I go to Vince. Like, I walk in, knock on Vince's doors. I'm like, hey, Vince, man, I hear that you have me working Vader. He's like, yeah, I thought, you know, you can put him over good, this and that. Da, da, da. I said, hey, I won't work all of them. Every one of them, every week. I want to be like anti-legend. Screw the Legends. I hate them. Get out, you old bastards. You know, we don't want you here. But the kid in me is like, ooh, yes. You know, like, this is awesome. He agreed to it. He's like, yes. He was like, we'll give you like a 30-second to a minute promo, and, you know, we'll just let them go through you. Like, he's like, are you sure about that? I said, yes, please, yes. So it was one of those things, as soon as I heard I was working Vader and they're like bringing in Legends all the way out, I'm like, this is me. Like, this is my spot. Like, no one's going to take this. I'm going to fight for this. And dude, as soon as Vader happened and Sid, and it was like Rikishi and Doink and Piper, and then Cyndi Lauper busted a record over my, like, it was just so much animal from the LOD, Rikishi. Like, it was just so much fun. Just going throughout, and I'm just like, whoa, Bob Backlund. I worked Bob Backlund. You know, it's like, what? So it was like, I got my buddy that painted my. You can't even see it up there. The Sting picture and my picture.
Oh wow.
Up there, I got him doing a picture of me laying in the ring with all the Legends around me.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not gonna put up on the wall, but. Man, I ain't gonna lie, that SummerSlam, whenever Nexus versus WWE, 3-on-B days was fun. Like, but man, that Legends run, that was one of those things where I'm like, man, this is great. So and I got to work Bret Hart, so that's amazing too.
So as for wrestlers, it's actually fun to them. They're not like fans where they're like, oh, Barry, you know, like you actually enjoy it.
Oh man, like
that's awesome.
It's one of those things with me. If you know, if the story's right, and or just the situation's right, like I'm down to do it. But then if it doesn't make sense, and I'm like, why are we doing this? Like, I don't want to do this and that. It's like that's when I get down. You know, because like I'm all about contributing and not just being a piece of the little puzzle that don't matter, you know, like, you know, just that gray piece that you just need for a background. I don't want to be that guy. I want to be the guy that's like, I want to be a nose on Pinocchio or something, you know, like I want to be used. I want to contribute. I want to, you know, be able to go out there and do my stuff because, you know, life's short. Go and do your thing.
With speaking of 3-on-B, a match that was really cool, and one of my best friends, and this ain't no joke, he says this is the best TLC match. He goes, we'll see. Were they like thinking that it was going to be just a comedy match and then turn into a piece of gold like that? Like, what was that like being a part of it? Like small little tables, small chairs, ladders, what's that like?
Brother, that was, I am just such, like, me and Swoggle, you know, we're good buddies. So it was one of those things where, like, when he got his moment to shine and do his thing, because everyone, like you just said, they thought it was going to be a joke. They thought it was going to be a ha, whatever, this and that. But it was like, they were trying to go out there and be Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, you know, do what they could do, make it good. And then you had me, Drew and Jinder, and Eddie and Epico, you know, out there. and then we're talking and all that stuff, and we're putting together the match. We're coming up spots for us. We're coming up with spots for them, and we're just like putting all these ideas in a pot and stirring it. Like, yeah, what about this and what about that? And next thing you know, you got what you got. And what got everyone happy is that, you know, some matches you walk back, you don't get no claps. Some matches you walk back and you get like, heck yeah, man. So it was like after that, it got a heck yeah, man, you know? So it was one of those things to where I'm just glad that they got their moment to shine, and everyone thought it was going to be a ha-ha thing, but it turned out to be gold, man. Like, it was really so good, and I'm proud of them for that. I'm just glad to be a part of that match, you know?
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. But, like, I went through 6 mini tables.
That's crazy. Do you ever
go 3? I don't remember.
Do you ever go back and watch your old matches ever?
It's been a while, man. It's been a while. The funny thing about it is that my mom, man, she's my biggest fan. She's wonderful. My grandfather was too, but he never got to see me on the main roster because he passed away, you know, before I made it to the main roster. But they would tape every Raw, every SmackDown. They got FCW stuff that they got from the internet on like DVDs. They got pictures that I've never even seen before. So it's like my mom always brings like little boxes of like goodies every time she comes down to where I'm like, oh, look at all these old ass wrestling magazines, or oh, you brought all my like trading cards. Like my mom just brought me all of these, like Ric Flair, you know, it just Steamboat, Hogan, like.
Kid?
Huh?
Those are all yours from like your childhood?
When I was a baby, you know, a kid, you know, collecting them, you know. And it's crazy. And it's like I got a Sting hologram card that a lot of people don't know about or have and stuff. So it's like, dang, I don't even remember having some of this stuff. But it's really cool to see that. Oh, look at this. She brought this down. The WWF turnbuckle that I got years ago when I left at my house.
That's cool.
Like a legit, like Hulk Hogan sweat probably on this thing, you know?
That's crazy.
So it's like she brings me these little gems. And I'm like, whoa, I didn't even know I had all this anymore. So it's just cool. And but yeah, she's my number. What was the question again, man? I got all off subject.
Hold on, I think I heard that. Hold on, it was. Yeah, I forgot. But what you were saying was awesome, though. What they asked wasn't even part of the questions. It was just an actual question. I kind of forgot what it was, though.
Yeah. Anyway, if I watched the old stuff.
Yeah.
So my mom brought me a whole DVD set. Like, you remember how DVD or the disc would come in the whole twisty thing, and it had the whole disc, and you record stuff off of. How old are you?
What?
How old are you?
Me? I'm 21. Turning 20.
Oh man, you probably don't know that stuff, man. You just used to MP3 players and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I grew up with.
Well, anyway, damn, I'm old. My mom brought like all these DVDs pretty much of like days when I was on the indies, 16 years ago. Just all this stuff to where I'm like, how did you even have these? Like, how'd you get these? So I put them in my PlayStation to play them because they play DVD players or DVDs. Man, it's so blurry and grainy. I'm like, that looks like an Atari game or something. Like this looks horrible. But I got it.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, kids, right?
Huh?
You have kids, right?
Yeah, man. I got 2 beautiful little girls.
Do you ever sit down and like watch that stuff and be like just inspired by their dad? Because that's like, realistically, so many people think what you do is not realistic. I wanted to be a wrestler. I went to Harley Race's Wrestling Academy. Even some people in my family doubted me, some didn't. But like, you got to do it, and now you got kids that you can hopefully motivate to reach their goals. So like, to see you like that must be crazy.
It's one of those things to where like, I kind of regret it now. because I'm away from like WWE with it, but thank God I'm with Impact so I can include them more. But like they would literally come with me. I mean, of course, with school and them being young and everything, my wife working, it's hard to bring them a lot. But I wish I would have included them more, with it, because like they know Daddy's a wrestler, but they don't know the extent of what Daddy's done. Yeah. They're just like, yeah, my daddy wrestles. They don't know about everything that's like, like I don't want to like toot my horn, but like people, you say, hey, Heath Slater the wrestler. People usually say, oh yeah, I do.
Yeah.
So it's like it's funny because like their friends at school will be like, man, Heath Slater, your dad, wow, you remember like he's with Rhino, this and that, and they're just like, yeah, Uncle Rhino, and they're just clueless because they're used to it, but they don't know how big wrestling is. They just think, oh, that's Daddy's job. They don't know it's like everywhere in the world, to where their little minds probably couldn't handle it. But I wished I would have included them more. But now, like with me being with Impact, and I'm going to be with them for a couple years, it's like I'm going to bring them more often. I'm going to let them be backstage. I want to let them learn it because, I mean, they're 8 and 6, so they can understand it a little bit. So I want to include them more in everything.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's my next goal. Like I'm telling you about goals, set them, achieve them, make another one. My goal is to bring them in, let them be that wrestling family more and everything.
I literally just made a vision board in my bathroom. I put up on the towel thingy, and it literally has like the goals I want to achieve and all that stuff. And I do that too. Set goals. Question, if you don't mind me asking, I was always curious about a wrestler who have kids too. So do they ever bring their friends over and they like are super big fans of you and they go, oh, Heath Slater, and then like the friends want to hang out but they just want to talk to you?
Yeah, that's happened a few times.
That's crazy.
And it's funny because it happens with the parents too.
Oh really, the parents?
Yeah.
So like you ever have like barbecues, they come over and they just want to talk to you about wrestling?
Is that wrestling, bro? Yes. All the time. That's like I feel like sometimes it's like, I got way more going on in life than just wrestling. I know that's what a lot of people know me for and what I do, but I've done other cool things outside of that. But that's just what their interest is, and I get it. It's exciting and stuff because, like, I got buddies that play basketball and football, and I talk about basketball and football while they talk to me about wrestling, and we just trade off, So it's just one of those things where like I understand, I get it, and I answer the questions and I talk. But then again, it's one of those things where once you get past that level and we talk about more real life stuff and what's going on and everything, that's when you make that bond and friendship. But then if it's just next time you meet us all wrestling and next time you meet us all wrestling, I'm just like, man, you just like Heath Slater. You don't like Heath Miller,
Yeah.
So I think that way sometimes.
With goals, with us talking about goals, do you are you having like is your future with your career gonna be like a redemption career, kind of like Drew and Gender? Is that kind of like your goals to have like another like come back, win the WWE title? Is that, or you're not focused on those things?
At the moment, I'm not focused on those things. In the horizon, in the deep future, it's a possibility. But I'm focused more on, because, I mean, think about this. I have been with the WWE, signed contract for 15 years. Okay? You were what, 6?
When you came, I don't even know.
Well, you would have been 11. Yeah. You would have been 11 when you saw me as Nexus. You would have been 6 when I signed a developmental contract with WWE.
That's crazy.
Right? So, 6-year-old you was playing with toys while I was trying to be a professional wrestler, It's crazy. But I was with that company for 15 years of my life. When I was 23 years old, I was with WWE. I'm 37 now. So 15 years, of my life, I was with that company. I have never been out on independence, because I was only on the independence for like maybe 2 years, if that, before I got to WWE. And that's like unheard of with some people. Like that doesn't happen really. Yeah. So it's one of those things where I never got to do the independence. I never got to go to like Impact or New Japan or Puerto Rico or Mexico to AAA, AEW now. I never got to do anything else ever. Never. So it's like me being like all my achievements in WWE, me being out of WWE and being able to do my own thing, make my own schedule and everything like that. To me, it's like I get to do what I want. Wow. Like, how did this happen?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where like it's a breath of fresh air at the moment. How long that's going to last, who knows? So I feel like I'm wanting to find a new part in my chapter. I'm wanting to see what all I got out there, see what I can do different, let my mind run wild and see, because like Impact is amazing for that, because they listen to, they listen to you. The communication's there. If you want to try something, they're like, yeah, man, let's try it. You like it? Because I kind of like it. If you like it, and I'm like, I like it. They're like, all right, do that. So they help you. They communicate with you. They're just like, what would you do? And I'm like, well, I would do it this way. And they're like, okay, do that then. So I'm like, great. So it's a chance for me to be me instead of me being a rebel, a watered down rebel, a rock star, a guy in a band, a free agent, a guy that got 20 some kids. Like I can be me now. So I'm just glad that I am out there exploring myself for the next couple years. But if the opportunity presents itself and it's a good story and the money's right, who knows? You might see me in WWE again. I don't know yet. I don't have that answer.
One thing you just said, though, I don't know if you ever really thought about it. When you just said that, all those gimmicks that you just said, every single one of those you got over with the fans, though. So no matter what your next chapter is, it's always going to, I feel like your fans are always going to be there no matter what it is. Like, you've always been very talented and capable to get anything over. So, that's
Thanks,
pretty
man.
cool to have that.
Dude, thank you for that. It's one of those things where, sometimes you don't like the cards that you're dealt, but they're in your hand and you got to do something with them. You better use them the best way you can, to get, because like John Cena always told me, he was like, you're one guy that they can give an inch to, but for some reason you can stretch it, for a mile. He was like, that's a talent in itself. And I'm like, thanks, John. No idea how I do it, but I'm just trying to do my best, man. And he was like, you got something, man. There's something about you. And John's always was cool with me, but it's like John always was about John too, but he was always like, you ask him a question, he was there for you type deal. But it was just it's just, I just try to go out there and be entertaining and knock a home run, man. Because if that's your job, you got to be the best at it. Because if you're not, someone's going to try to take it.
Yeah. With the independent scene, I actually got one of my friends. He's also doing. Harley Race, right? How he has a World League Wrestling Academy. Have you heard about it?
Who is Harley Race?
You know.
Of course I know who Harley Race is, man.
Yeah. So he has this wrestling academy. I used to wrestle there, and this one kid, man, it's so crazy how some people just really have this. You have people who are there, and they'll try to get it. This dude, he was probably wrestling in the academy for a year, and then he got on the show. He is now the youngest WLW champion that Harley Race brought in, and he's my age, 21. What? I think 21. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, that you're probably gonna have a crazy future. So maybe one day, I'm putting it out there, you might see him and wrestle one day. That'd be pretty crazy.
Hey, man, I'm telling you, like, I grew up in a small ass town in the sticks, bro. Palmville, West Virginia, maybe like 800 people in that town. And I mean this. Small little town with a big ass dream. To where people looked at me and said, ha, 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 yeah, you gonna be in the coal mines, boy. You know what I said? The hell is that? I'm gonna get my dream, like, I'm getting it. Yes, it took a little while, but I got it. Because I was determined, I had confidence, and it was just one of those things that, like, I just knew in my heart. I got another thing, like my mother, like I was telling you about, she brought me down this 5th grade writing assignment that I did, and it's about me going to be a wrestler.
Really?
And I'm like, what? Like, I don't even remember writing this. She was like, you have like so many more of these. I'm like, bring them next time. I want to read these. I want to see what my 5th grade, my 6th grade, my 7th grade mind was thinking, because I don't remember writing this. It's just funny, but it's one of those things, like I was saying, set these goals and get the goals. And once you get it, set another one, bro, and get that one. And after that, get that one. You're 21.
Yeah.
You're still young as hell, but you're able to drink and go out there and explore and have a good time. So make sure you use all your sources. Go out there and do that. Conquer those damn goals, bro.
Thank you. I appreciate it. There are times, I'm not gonna lie, like, this probably sounds dumb though to you, maybe, I don't know. I know, like, I'm 21 and I'm really young, but like there's still times where I'm like, geez, like, what else is there gonna be? Like, what can I go achieve? Because like you said, the ups and downs. When those downs come, sometimes I have big downs, and I'm like when I lost my channel, I was like, what is there to do? Because I already did 12 years. That's a lot. Like, I'm 21, 12 years. That's a lot of time to do something. That's my life, and I'm like, so what else really is there, like, to do? Like, I don't know. It's so weird to think about it. But you saying that means a lot. So thank you.
Do you still have like videos of your old stuff?
Oh, a little bit, and
even a little bit can go a long ways, bro. For real. Like, even be like, hey, this is my new channel. Used to be this, now this. Bam, put that out. Like little snippets, and don't even put the whole video. Put 10 seconds here, 10 seconds there. Just so people can. Oh yeah, okay, let me follow you back. Like little things like that.
Steven, what's his name? He's NXT writer, performance center. Steven I can't pronounce his last name, man. He's bald. He has that same tattoo as Kevin Owens, the life backwards.
Is he the writer for WWE?
No, he's the producer. My bad.
Producer?
NXT Steve, and then Cornyn, but he has like the Kevin Owens lip tattoo. They got it together.
I have to see a picture.
Dang, man, it's hard to. I don't know, but he was at the Harley Race Academy, and I got to cut a promo with him. We had promo day, and I got to do it with him. And there was a guy from Ring of Honor. It's like the beer bruiser and guys, and so I got to cut this promo. And so
I'm a fan of him, man.
Really?
Yeah.
He's so nice, man. He's so nice.
He cracks me up. I've never met him.
Really?
Dude, I just like his work and his style.
I swear, he's so humble, and he actually cares. Like, I've met a lot of wrestlers, and I got to work with them from Harley's school, and man, he cared so much. He literally would take time for like my back bumps. He would actually like help me and stuff like that. A lot of them would just try to rush it. I'm here, just let's get this done with. He was like actually taking time and he gave us our emails and stuff. I'm like, dude, that's so cool. Like,
that's rare.
Yeah.
That's rare. Like I've always been like me. Like I can name a lot of guys that's always been that way, because like over the years, it's like when I got up there, it was like a wild, wild west, man. Like, it was still rough. It was still like, oh no, like, are we gonna fight or what's gonna happen? Like, I don't really know. But like now, it's more of a, I don't know, they're like a team than every individual for themselves type thing. It's more like a team. So it's like, if you have a guy like that, certainly him, because he's good, man. Like, his gimmick's good. He's entertaining. He can work. Like I said, I'm a fan. I've never met the dude. So it's just like, if he did that, man, that's really cool of him. Like, because like I said, that's rare. Like, you don't hear of that really.
That's crazy. Yeah, at that time in my life, that was like 2017, right out of high school. I was so set to be a wrestler my whole life, and people told me I could never do it. And unfortunately, I stopped. But I'll tell you in a second why. But I still got to train with guys from WWE, Ring of Honor, and New Japan. They had a whole weekend set for that. So I'm like, I might have not made it, but I got that experience. You can't take that away from me. And but I wanted to do that. I still want to pursue pro wrestling career, but I want to do more of like a like this. I want to do like broadcasting, like announcing the matches or ring announcing or interviewing. I want to try to get to that path, but
Okay.
I wanted to do wrestling, but I saw this dude, right? We were doing these bumps, and he went for this. Probably sounds stupid why I quit, but he went for this body slam, and the kid dropped him, and he tried to catch himself like this, and his elbow popped out, and I was like, maybe I can try something else with this pro wrestling, because I know eventually that might be my day. I'm not gonna have that done to me. It was the hardest decision of my life, because pro wrestling was probably the best sport I've ever done in my life. It was the hardest decision, but I feel like the best decision, because in pro wrestling I really never got far. In this broadcasting, I get to interview you right now, which is like, like just training, and now I'm doing this. Obviously, it looks like I'm taking the right path. Like, I'm much more happier doing this than potentially having my own, like, and taking bumps, dude. I gained a whole much respect for pro wrestlers. I've always had respect. Dude, AJ Styles and Mick Foley and those bumps, like when Styles fell from the briefcase, I saw that live. I was like, okay, so one like this, I don't even, Jesus Christ. Like, every little bump you see, man, it is, I don't know how 15 years, does your body hurt right now from the bumps?
It always hurts, but then again, it's one of those things to where, like, I want to say you knew what you were doing once you got into it, but I feel like the passion and love and the excitement of it took over all my thoughts and emotions.
Yeah.
To where, like, like I said, like, I've been going legit 15 years straight. I mean, no off days. Like, I've got a couple months here, a couple months there, but due to injury. But I came right back. It was just like, just 15 years of it. But my hips hurt, my joints hurt, my lower back is always the painful thing. But that's every one of us. Like, every wrestler you talk to, joints, lower back, hips, always. Or if they like had shoulder problems and stuff. My shoulders are tight, but they're not hurting, like a lot of these other guys, man. Like R-Truth, Goldie, Mojo, they can't do that. They're like this, like trying to get their hands up because they're just so much cartilage and damage, and it's just one of those things, just wear and tear. Mojo mostly with football, but Goldie and Truth, and like even with me, like when I do this, all I hear is cracking, so it's just, you're kind of crazy, but then again, you're doing what you love. So there are those faults, but then again, it's like you provide for your family, you're doing what you love, and you don't wake up every day saying you hate your job.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's probably the best job in the world.
It is fun as hell.
Like, Harley's son, Leland, he can't even push his elbow out all the way. It's like this. It's locked in place no matter how much you do it because of the bumps and stuff like that. I think he said he landed improperly, and now he can't even extend his elbow.
Dude, one of my best friends went to that school. Joe Henning, right? Curtis Axel?
Yeah.
Mr. Perfect's son?
Mm-hmm.
He went to Harley's school, too.
Really? That's awesome. That's crazy.
Ted DiBiase Jr.?
Yeah.
He went there, too.
Wow.
They both got trained by Harley.
That's awesome. Harley, I remember the first conversation I had with Harley. I walked in there, my tire popped my second day of training. I was like, oh, great. Here comes 1,000 squats probably. I'm late. I walk in, and Harley's in his wheelchair. It was towards the end of his life. And I never knew he was a smoker. So he's sitting there, and he's smoking a cigarette. I walk up. I go, I'm so sorry, sir. I'm super late. And all he goes is, get in the ring, son. You're good. Get to work. And I go, yes, sir. I'm like,
right?
I go, no squats? He goes, nope. And then Leland goes, squats. I was like, oh, of course.
Harley's just like, thanks for showing, get in the ring.
Yeah.
Not to talk to me in my cigarette time.
Yeah. He was so nice, man. He told me, this is what he taught me about tag team wrestling. And I never knew this until he told me, and I started watching tag team matches. When wrestlers are out, maybe it might be different in WWE. When wrestlers are out and their hands down like this, means don't tag. And he taught me that, and I was like, I never noticed that. I walked back to I'm like, what the?
That's some old school stuff. Trust me, I got taught that way too.
Really?
Do this, do that thing. You know, like, oh, keep reaching, but don't hit me yet. Keep reaching, but don't hit me yet. Okay, come on, get me. You know, and then it's a tag. That's the vocabulary of like sign language for wrestling. Not yet. Okay, tag. You know, boom. But now you just do that, and you're just like, all right now, and you just say it. You know, but old schoolers, man, that was it. That way until you saw that is when you tag.
Oh yeah,
and that's a fact, man. I got taught the same way, and then I got in the business for about 8 years later, and then it all changed, and it was like, just say tag, damn it.
That's funny. Hey, a non-wrestling question. Do you know who Logan Paul is? Logan Paul or Jake Paul? YouTubers.
I literally watched. I'm a huge boxing fan. Like I love boxing. Like I boxed in Golden Gloves back when I was 11 to 17. So like my hands used to be tough. Not so much now, but I used to be kind of tough back in the day. But I saw Jake Paul fight the basketball player.
Yeah.
Woo! Because like I don't care what people said about the Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. I thought it was amazing to watch them two go in there and legit have an exhibition and spar. Everyone's like, oh, man, someone should have got knocked out. That was bullshit. I'm like, bro, you got to see two of the greatest guys ever spar for damn 10 rounds. Like, that was awesome to watch.
It really was.
I'm a fan of it. Like, I love it. So, yes, I saw Jake's going to damn fight Mayweather.
Logan. Logan's
fighting Logan. Yeah, Logan. Jake wants to fight McGregor.
Yeah. Do you would you watch those? Both of those?
Hey, don't get me wrong. I'll watch it. I'll definitely watch it. But man,
hey, would you ever fight Logan and Jake if they said I want to fight Heath Slater? Would you do it?
Hey, honestly, if they gave me probably about 6 months of legit training. And after my surgery, hell yeah, I'll get in there for the right amount of money. That's a fact. That's 100% fact. If the money's right and they want to go, let's do it. 100%. But I am not in boxing shape right now. I'll tell you right now. I can't even run. Every time I run, it feels like the left side of my daggone gut's falling down to my damn knees. It's a weird feeling, man. If you ever lose your abductor muscle, it's a weird feeling, bro. But yes, 100%. I would totally, if the money's right and they want to go, let's do it.
Maybe that'll happen one day.
Hey, but I do think it's amazing though. Like with Logan calling out Mayweather and Mayweather taking it, I'm like, bro, Logan, you're literally fighting Mayweather, the best boxer in the world, pretty much. Like, this is amazing. Congratulations. Like, I would get in there and get my ass beat too, you know, 100%. Even like with Jake wanting to fight McGregor, I'll shake his hand like, bro, yes, that's cool. But if the money's right, I would get in there and get my ass beat too, you know?
Yeah. Oh, dude. I know the odds are not a lot, but if Logan actually knocked down McGregor, I mean, Floyd, if that actually happened, the internet, it would explode.
Bro, the internet, everybody's phone would smoke because it'd be going crazy.
Yeah, it's good. WWE actually tweeted, which is crazy. So I know they see these YouTubers. They tweeted, they said, Big Show and Floyd is finally not Floyd's weirdest match. Do you think WWE will ever, or Vince, because you know Vince real good, do you think they'll ever consider bringing in Logan or Jake, like those YouTubers, or is that like that will never happen? Let's stick to these Hollywood actors.
I promise you, with WWE, anything can happen.
Really?
Brother, I promise you, if it's going to bring ratings up, or it's going to help the product, if it's going to bring viewers, if whatever's going to bring money in, and they're going to say, okay.
Yeah, I'm really surprised they haven't because literally KSI and Logan Paul, their second fight, I don't know if you've heard about that one. That was on the Zone. It was the #1 most bought boxing pay-per-view in the UK in history. I'm like, what? Why is WWE not put something like that? Like, dude, you could bring in. I mean, I think that'd be cool because one, they're my favorite YouTubers, and two, I'm a YouTuber, so seeing a YouTuber ring, it's like, there we go. I think that'd just be insane. I don't know how real this is. Did you ever hear about this rumor? It was supposed to be at SummerSlam. John Cena, Big Show, and Justin Bieber versus the Wyatt family. was that a fake rumor? SummerSlam 2013.
No, I heard it too. How true it is, I don't know. But it went backstage because it was on the internet, of course, and everything. Yeah. Of course, the boys were like, Justin Bieber? Like, really? But honestly, though, that we heard the same thing, too. Like, we're like, well, all right. I think he's training with Mayweather, ain't
he? Yeah. See, I feel at that time in Bieber's life, I don't know how much you like Bieber. In that time, he was in his, like, thug bad boy stage. I think right now, like, he's humble now. He's changed. He's, like, a normal person. I feel like right now
he got married, bro. He got married.
Yeah.
And she told him, quit that crap.
Yeah.
Be you.
Yeah. Do you think part of it is a good thing that didn't happen? Because knowing WWE, and I love WWE, they love having celebrities get pinned. And I swear, Bray Wyatt got pinned by Justin Bieber. What? Like, do you think that would actually happen? Like,
yeah, I don't doubt anything, man. Like, honestly, he probably would have got the win in that match if it would have happened. Something John Cena would have hit Bray with the, FU. Bray would have sold up. Big Show would have knocked him out, and then they would have put Bieber on top of him or something. Like something like that would have happened.
That would have been. Do you like the Fiend gimmick, by the way? What's your thoughts on that?
Of course, man. It's different. It's interesting. It's cool. It's entertaining. Like, of course I do.
That was crazy. The Inferno match, did you see that?
I didn't see it. Like I said, I don't watch much,
Oh, really?
Of course, like, I saw pictures of it and all that stuff. And, like, Randy's amazing. Like, everyone knows Randy's is probably the best. Like, he's great. And then, with Wyndham or Bray, I mean, he's came into his own. Like, I remember him before he didn't even know how to lock up. So it was one of those things to where, like, he has just grown so much and he has found himself and he's doing his thing and it's awesome. And he's just being so creative, as you can see, man. Like, it's just wow. Like, I don't even know if I want to walk in your brain, man. It's like one of those things. But I tip my hat to both of them because anything they're doing, man, if they have at least their hand in the bucket a little bit, it's going to be good.
That's good. And then final question, too, for you. So I know your last thing you did with WWE was the McIntyre thing, which that promo, by the way, was a phenomenal promo. Me and my friends were getting emotional with you. I was like, dude, they need to re-sign this. Like, you need to be main event with McIntyre. First of all, what was that like for you? And second of all, do you think we will ever see a 3MB main event match like the Shield and Battleground? We see McIntyre, Heath Slater, Jinder, WWE title. Do you think that needs to happen? I feel like, And then you got to win that title. You need to fulfill the prophecy. That's what my friend Patrick always says. He literally has you as his champion universe mode. He goes, we got to fulfill the prophecy. It needs to happen. We got to get it done. You think?
I can honestly say for that prophecy, fulfilling the prophecy thing, like, I have like 3 great ideas in my mind for it. I'm never gonna say it. I'm just gonna pitch it if the opportunity ever comes. But I have 3 different ways to make that damn thing happen, and it can be amazing in each way. Just because me, Drew, Jinder are legit buddies, like, it's a fact.
And the fans are gonna love it because we've been on that ride with you guys. That'd be amazing. That will happen, I promise you. So if you ever think bad, I know, like, coming from me, I don't know if it means a lot, but I promise you, if Jinder and Drew, I guarantee you, down the line with this next chapter, that's gonna happen. One of these days, it definitely will.
Hey, it might. Hey, what was that first half of that question?
What was that final segment like with Drew McIntyre? What was it? Did that mean like a lot to you? Like, how did that feel?
Brother, Drew, first the writer, I didn't even know his name, probably a new dude, reached out to me and said, hey, we're thinking about wanting to bring you in to do this segment with Drew, Dolph, to lead up to their storyline. And I just wrote back, no. And no. And then I guess stuff went through the mix, and then Drew calls me. And Drew's talking to me. And Drew, like I said, Drew's my buddy, man. We talk about life. We talk about problems. We talk about what we're going through. We talk about wrestling, sports. He likes soccer. I don't. So, but he calls me and he's like telling me, like, dude, I want you in this. It'd be a great piece of the puzzle. It'll help me out. It'll help you out. It'll do this. It'll do that. And I'm just like, bro, no. I don't want to do it. I don't want to go back to that. Like, I'm done. So then, like, a week went by, so he calls me back. He's like, man, listen to me, because he talked to his wife, and his wife was like, remember what you felt like when they released you? Do you remember what you felt like, how you just put up that guard, and you're like, you know what, the hell with that. I'm going this way. And Drew just was like, damn, I didn't think about that. So Drew calls me, and we legit had a heart-to-heart, man, to where I was like, you're a son of a bitch, man. Like, all right, I'll do it. but what's funny, though, is that the whole time I agreed to it, but then deep down I'm like, I don't want to do it. Like, I shouldn't be doing this. I don't want to do it. Like, I don't know if it was like nerves or me already saying I'm done, I'm moving on, that chapter's over. But then again, it was like I never got a closure. Like I never got that. See you later, guys. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go and just knock a home run. I'm going to go up to bat. I'm going to swing, and I'm going to hit that bitch, and I'm going to knock it over the fence.
Oh, you did. Everyone, he come back. It was.
What was crazy is that, like, I went there, a writer gave me a script, and I just handed it right back to him. And he just looked at me like, what? Because, think about it. I'm already fired. I'm still getting paid my 3 months. What are they going to do? Take 2 weeks of paydays from me if I go out there and do what I want to do or what? Like, okay, whatever. I literally was like, I have nothing to lose, man. Nothing to lose. And I'm going to go out there and say what I want to say. I'll stick to your guidelines, but I'm going to push the envelope, Brother, I went out there one take. Music hit. I walked out. We got in the ring. Emotions came, man. Like, it was just like, hey, man, this is what I got. This is what I'm saying. And if they even dare say, all right, hold on, let's rewind this and go back to this part, because it was like COVID times. There ain't no crowd. It was recorded. So I even had in my mind, if they even said that, I'm like, you better keep this live because I ain't listening to you in the speakers. And I was just going to keep going, but they didn't. They just let us go, And then we hit it. And then as soon as Drew hit me with the damn kick and the pin and, the whole Dolph deal, and me and Drew looked eye to eye, man, like my tears came. He's looking at me, and I see his eyes watering up, and I'm like looking at him like, man, this is it. This is it, He helped me up. Like, none of this was planned. Like, none of this. It just happened, He helped me up, gave me a hug, and he said, I love you, brother. And I was like, baby, I love you too, man. And then we raised each other's hand. We did the 3-on-B bow and raised our hand. And next thing you know, man, I went and got some food and flew home.
Dude, that's awesome.
But what's funny is that they said that they had that spot. They had me wrestling Dolph the following Raw. And then they had me coming down at there's like some horror something pay-per-view. Whatever the pay-per-view was in that time, I forget the name of it, for me to come down and distract Dolph and like Drew wins. And I'm like, I'm not doing none of that. I agreed to do this with Drew, and I'm done. Like, I'm out. So I did that with Drew, and I left. So that was the last time anybody ever saw me there, man.
Yeah.
Of course, I text with a lot of the guys, and we BS because I mean, shoot, they've known me forever and we're buddies. So we still talk, man. It's just they don't see me every week.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for doing this interview, man. I appreciate it a lot.
There's no problem at all, man. Thanks for having me, man. It was fun.
I have a question. Whenever I upload this, it's okay if you can't. Do you think you could post on your Twitter so your fans can see it too? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, just tag me in it, man. I'll retweet it and quote on it.
All right, I'll send it to you tomorrow by like 3 o'clock your time.
Sounds good, bro.
All right, thanks, Heath.
Take it easy, man.
You too. Bye.
Later.
Alright, I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you guys did, make sure to smash that thumbs up button down below. Such a nice guy, dude. We just had such a great conversation. Like, there was points where our questions just turned into just normal conversation, and then we get like, wait, what was the question again? Such a great guy, man. Hopefully I get to talk to him again later down the road, have another interview, maybe in like a year or whenever he does something big again. And yeah, great guy, man. I loved it a lot. And make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications. And thank you so much. I'll see you guys later. Peace.